Alright, this is my first Scorpion box. So just kind of look at it really quick. Just graphics. This is my first time mounting a LED button. Drew this up. My concept of Scorpion. Have them mostly black, but then just have the yellow arm with a little bit of a Scorpion design on there. It's just a quick sketch, so there's not a lot of detail. It looks like a sketch, and I just went in and colored it. And then, put the skull on, but the skull, instead of being a real skull, it's just a quick kind of like an illustration of a skull. Your Mortal Kombat layout. These buttons won't really be used for anything or the run. What I'm going to demo it on is on my PlayStation. This is a PlayStation stick. It's got a handle. So you got your select, home, and your start. This is the back side, or the bottom side, I should say. So it's got some other concept illustration I did. Kenshi, Smoke, Scorpion here in the back, and then Raiden. Normally what I would do is have like a really big picture of Scorpion on the back, but I figured, if I illustrate those, might as well try and use them. So this is the stick. It's wired. It comes out here. You can just take the wire and wrap it around the handle. The handle is just so you can grab the box relatively easy. What I was gonna do is hook up the LED to the rumble packs on the Xbox, but this is actually the first PlayStation stick that I wired. It was actually a little bit easier to wire, and the controller that I used actually already had LEDs on it, so I just tested one out. I didn't know if I wanted to make all the buttons the LED button, because the LED button is a little bit different from the concave buttons. It sits a little differently, so I used it for the block, so that way I think most players are gonna know where block is, but anyway, I just showed a stick being used. This has some older Xbox 360 graphics. What I wanted to do was use the buttons and put two controllers inside, so I was going to put the PlayStation controller and the Xbox controller so you can use on any console. So I figured these graphics wouldn't matter, but there's actually not enough space in the box for the controller. The controller sits right here. There's not much space here. There's not that much space here because the joystick is a little bit wider, so there's not much space there. And with all the buttons in there, I actually almost ran into a problem with the buttons here being too deep. It's butt right up against the joystick here, so there's really nowhere to put it. There might be some space here, but the Xbox controllers are a little bit bigger. So anyway, this is up, down, so up, down. So we're gonna log in. This is X, I think. Yeah, so this is X, which in Mortal Kombat 2, which I just bought online, is low punch. So I got low punch, high kick, low kick, and it's X, triangle, circle, and then this is square. And that's a little bit different from Mortal Kombat that I played on Xbox, because on the Xbox I ended up, well, no, I guess it's not really A, and the X, yeah, I guess that's about the same. Never mind. What the hell was I talking about? So X for selecting, but I guess you can back out. Yeah, so this is your O button to back out. So X to select, this to back out. I'm gonna select this, play Mortal Kombat. Scorpion on the back side. Some Ninja Star Shurikens on the side here. Scorpion on that side. So start button to get past all of the menus. If you hit home, it'll pull up home. Hit home again, just backs out. So hit start, access the hard drive. Hit start here, doesn't do anything. But what we're gonna do is select arcade game. Hit start to skip all this. Now on this screen, what I'm going to do is, this controller isn't active, but I'm going to activate it and hopefully this doesn't jump on me. There we go. So now this is on. I got it as player 2. I hit start. I'm going to select reptile. And then I just use that so I can demo all the buttons. So select Sub-Zero. So here's the stick. Back, forward, crouching. Oh, here. Back, forward, crouching, jump. We got high punch, low punch. The middle's block. High punch, or high kick, low kick. And then I don't know if these, yeah, these by default block. And then that block. So I guess it lets you use any of the, you know, the L1, L2, or, you know, R1, R2, or which would be triggers on the Xbox 360. So all the buttons work, and so you'd be able to use this with Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe on PlayStation 3, and these would be your grabs. Someone brought up the point of moving these, and that way if you wanted to grab, you can just do the manual way, so you just have this original layout. But the thing that's hard about it is that, like, these buttons go about like 2 inches deep. So if I tried to move these buttons like on the, I guess I could put them on the side here, and they really wouldn't compete with this too much, so I could probably put them down here. So somebody actually said that. I said, well, why would you move the buttons to the side? Because if you want to throw really quick, you can just hit this button. But they pointed out that you can just hit these simultaneously, and I said, well, I guess you could do that. Some people are skilled enough to do that, but I'm not, so I need the buttons there. But if that's what people want, you know, you can put them on the side or whatever. This the bottom unscrews so you can get in and switch out your parts. This just stays on. What I'll do on the 360 is have it hook up to the rumble, and so here, let me just hit Sub-Zero so I can stay on the screen. So anyway, I was going to maybe have these buttons lit, so when you're fighting and you get hit, if there's any rumble, they'll just kind of flicker instead of just stay on all the time. But I don't know, because these buttons are kind of weird. They have like a little mount, and if you don't, you have to use it unless you have a special drill to kind of just dig it in. So that's the controller, man. It works. Just waiting for Mortal Kombat 9 to come out, so I can try and use the stick and see, you know, check out the new game or whatever. So this is the first stick. I actually sold this to somebody, so I pulled an all-nighter to finish it. I'm gonna send it off to them, and you know, it's not 100%. Like, there's some little things that happen that I didn't like. You can't really see it unless you get really close, but there's like some speckles and stuff like that in there, and that happens during the drying process because there's just particles in the air. I don't work like in an Intel fab where they, you know, suck all the particles out of the air. I don't have a workspace that allows me to do that, but unfortunately I don't know any workaround for it. If there's anything in the air and it falls on the lacquer while it's drying, it's gonna be in there. So these are smaller than my other handles, and it's black, so I think that's pretty cool because it matches the controller stick. Still needs to cure a little bit, kind of still smells a little, but I think it works, man. So anyway, Mortal Kombat stick.